Hi, you're watching Producer Circle. This is our community care panel. This is part 2. So if you just came from part 1 watching that, check that out. And if not, it'll show on the other Wednesdays throughout this month. My name is Roland Boyden. I'm the Access Facilitator at PhillyCam, and I also get to be the host of Producer Circle for the very first time today. Real excited about that. This program is part of PhillyCam's People Powered Media Fest. That's our annual month-long celebration of community media and our membership. This year, we're focused on sharing the ways our media can form community care. So be sure to catch our conversations, workshops. We have special programming focused on ways of storytelling and how that all cultivates care. So you can tune into the fest on cable, radio, and online. And for more information, you can visit ppmfest.org. And we've got an awesome panel here today that I'm so excited to introduce. So thanks everyone so much for joining us here. Let me do a few quick introductions, and then I'll turn the floor over to you so you can get to talk about yourselves here too, introduce yourselves to the audience. But first, we've got Wayne Hunter. He's a tech guru who focuses on educating people, young and old, to use new technologies as well as understand and utilize the tech they encounter every day. He aims to help people use tech to navigate an ever-increasingly complex world, which contributes to the well-being and advancement of his fellow seniors. Wayne has a TV program, Talking Tech with Wayne, and is currently working on a podcast as well about drones. Wayne, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Roland. It's my pleasure.
We've got Miss Toni J Jones here. She is a PhillyCam ambassador and also a TV and radio producer with her program, Seven Figure Hustle. Toni J works to educate her community on financial literacy to give them the tools to achieve a stable financial future. Toni J, it is so great to be on TV here together. This is great. We've done some shows together in the past where maybe I've been behind the camera or something, but we get to share the limelight here today. I'm excited. And Sebastian Foxworth is a documentarian that focuses on the mental health of African-American men. In his documentaries, he talks with people from minority communities who openly share their experiences with the hopes of letting someone who might be suffering know that it's okay and there's help out there for people like them. Thank you so much for being here. And before we get too much further, Sebastian, you're on set today, right? So.
Yes. I like to once a year, jump back into the acting, and I'm at that new Adam Sandler and LeBron James film called Hustle, and they're filming today at the Wells Fargo. So I'm here today, and then somewhere in South Philly on Friday. So we're actually on launch break right now. Just kind of fit right in. So here I am.
Very cool. So if they call your name, we will understand. You'll have to go. That's how the biz works.
Sign and we'll be out.
Okay, sounds good. Well, maybe we'll start with you then, just so we make sure we get to everything. But I did the little mini introduction for you. But tell us a little bit more about yourself and your film here, and what.
Okay, so I was raised by a mother who was bipolar, and I'm a child of the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And so it really wasn't talked about that much. But, you kind of kept these things within the family. I myself, as a child, was very embarrassed. But, I would never have friends over, things like that. And, my mother had some good family and sisters. And she used to always tell me, like, you understand when you get older, that certain things aren't her fault. It is conditioned. It is a hereditary condition as well, unfortunately. There were multiple members of my family who have it. But as I got older, I started to realize other people had family members or themselves had, mental illness conditions as well. And the good thing is, in the 2000s, it started to be addressed more and not, swept under the rug or seen as unreal, because you all know if you can't feel it physically or it can't be seen like a broken bone, a lot of the times people just look at you like, unfortunately, like you're crazy. And they just kind of have a get over it attitude. But, mental illness is real. And unfortunately for some people, they will need medicines to help get over it. We all will face something at some point, some form of depression or whatever. And, some people can deal with it, some people can't. Some people, it is their everyday way of life. So I wanted to bring awareness out because I noticed there are quite a few people in my age group who had it, and even some younger ones. So I wanted to I asked them, these are all people that I know now, that I grew up with, or their children, and said, would you mind talking about it in front of, a camera, since I'm a filmmaker, because you might be able to help someone else. Let them know that they're not alone, basically. And this is something that is real, and people, understand it, and there are people who have it like you and are willing to at least address it to help other people.
I think your answer is a terrific segue into kind of the theme of the program here today and of the PPM Fest in general, which is community care. So I really appreciate just this work you're doing that touches on, you talk about these issues getting swept under the rug and the history of that happening, and even as we transition into hopefully a society where people are willing to talk about this, it's such an uphill battle. So really appreciate that work. While we're talking about community care, I wanted to ask our other panelists too what that looks like for you. So maybe Toni J, we'll go to you next. So when you think about your program and media, but just also in general, what does community care mean to you in the context of?
Well, community care means teaching and sharing knowledge. And the reason why, and I can bounce off of what the gentleman said, because I go to therapy and there's no shame in the game. And Philly Cam has helped me help with that situation, put it that way. And I found out a lot of people had problems, as the gentleman said, and it affects their finances. So by helping the community understand finances, understand that they sometimes maybe need to talk to someone to get a different perspective. Finances is a lot of times the main reason, plus emotional, why people don't, succeed. So I just want to share as much as I can with what I've known, because I didn't know a lot. At the beginning, I turned 60 and I had a mini stroke, and I just felt like I need to learn everything I can, because the amount of money they wanted to give me to live off of, $600 some, my mortgage was $7. I'm like, this is not going to work. I have to find another way. So with that being said, I just started studying. I started researching, reading, and finding out. And along with my emotional state, it helped. So now I kind of balance it out, and my hashtag is I know better now. So
I love that. Well, I think it's so interesting because I think, when we talk about mental health and the stigmas that really prevent people from seeking care and kind of, taking it to the next level with what they want to do with their lives, I think money kind of has that stigma too. I was raised like, well, we're not going to talk about money. We're not going to, let's not bring money into this. And really, I think that's, that stigma can cause issues. I think one thing I've heard from you, Toni J, that I love is that you talk about needing to get that financial literacy started early. There's, as you said, there's no shame in it. This is a critical thing to understand. And so I appreciate that work as well. Wayne, I wanted to turn to you a little bit. When you think about community care and how it relates to your show and in general, what does it mean to you?
Community care for me means contributing to the collective. So often we're hung up into our own need to there are things done that we forget that we're part of a group of human beings. And in particular, what my show tries to do is, along with giving technical information and helping people become more able to deal with this increasingly complex world, is create groups so that people can support each other. I started off talking tech with Wayne in health centers. And part of the dynamic was building that group and building a group of individuals that would be able to deal with their own issues, but also support each other. So I don't think that there's an aspect of community care that doesn't include the community.
Sebastian, it looks like we might lose you soon. So I wanted to, one of our, thoughts here is about the kind of community care that doing these productions and this work can kind of help facilitate. And so one of the other questions then, sort of looking forward, are what are some of the ways we can care for our community after the production piece of it is finished? What's kind of that next step? What are the bigger goals out of all of this?
Well, in my case, since these are documentaries that are going to be features, we hit the film circuit. And there are actually film circuits out there for mental health awareness, as well as, regular things like Sundance or whatever. And we like to go out and talk about it. And we do hit the circuit quite a bit with those. We will sometimes play places like, say, the African Museum in Philly, because it is a problem in African American communities as well, where people don't really talk about it. And basically, though, we just have a lot of Q&As. Really haven't done the Skype thing yet, but a lot of the film festivals, we talk about it, and it draws a lot of attention. We have also partnered up with the Mental Health Awareness National Network as well, and they show the films a lot at their national meetings every September.
Fantastic. And I would usually save this part for the end, but I want to make sure we get a chance for you to shout out, where people can find out more and all that stuff in case, we lose you before the end here. So if folks want to follow you online, they want to learn more about the film, they want to get involved with your causes, how can they do all that? Yes.
Well, if you go to foxworthmedia.com, everything is there. YouTube pages, Twitter, Facebook. This is actually a series that I've been running since 2015 called The Great American Depression. And then usually it'll be a colon. And then I'm aware, or, men or women. We always have a theme to it, trying to focus on certain groups or people or religion and how they deal with mental illness. And we have to deal with Amazon, so the whole series will be going up on there, as well as Tubi TV.
Fantastic. Well, congratulations. It sounds amazing. Thank you so much for your work. And thanks for fitting us in here while you're on set. That's exciting. And, we got get to get a little look behind you too as to what the set looks like. So that's great.
We're actually going to the stadium, to the, to where the floor is, the stadium is now.
Whoa, very cool.
Right.
That's exciting. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And then anything else you need, you can grab me for B-roll or whatever.
All right. Perfect. Sounds good. Yeah. If we need to cut anything else in here, we'll do that.
Exactly.
So, all right. Sebastian Foxworth.
Gabe's a wizard at all that good stuff, so I get to send it and do her magic.
She is. Absolutely. All right.
I appreciate it, guys. Let me run. God bless everyone. Mental illness is real. Mental illness is real. Mental healthness needs to be addressed. Take care of yourselves.
Toni J, I wanted to turn it back over to you a little bit. Let's get into a few specifics from your show. So when you're thinking about putting together your episodes and who you want to talk to and what you hope people get out of it, what does that look like? What are some of the kind of key pieces of financial literacy that you're focusing on?
Well, it's a little here or there, but I like to start off by focusing on the children, because you can start teaching financial literacy as young as 2. As soon as a child starts talking, and we have a tendency to teach our children how to spend, teach our children that they don't sit down and go over the bills with them. And some people say you shouldn't, but I feel you should, to let them realize that if you don't have money, you can't get this. If you're given $5, you don't need to spend the whole $5. Put one away. Have them do chores and have a chart. You have to teach them that money is just not something, as the old folks say, they grow on trees. And to me, by having a financial foundation as young as possible will eliminate, because I see people standing in line to buy $500 sneakers and they don't have $100 saved for a rainy day. And their kids just see them buying. All you hear is designer. But they're not prepared for their children to go to college, or they're not the main thing. Most people do not save for a rainy day. Most people, when I see someone do a fish fry or a GoFundMe to bury their loved ones, it's just like, that tears my heart up. But I see these same people walking around with designer this and designer that and $400 pocketbooks and $500 sneakers. We need to understand financial literacy is the main thing. That's why they don't teach it in school, because corporate needs worker bees. If I teach you everything I know, then I won't have nobody to work and make me rich. So, and the main thing I want to get across to people, having a home-based business when you're working is like a gold mine. It's like the best kept secret, because when you work the 9 to 5, your job gives you, the government gives you what's left of your money. When you have a home-based business, you give the government what's left. So you, after your deductions and you do what you need to do, then you say, okay, I can deduct, just like they do your paycheck. Then you give them because you're allowed to. So we just want to teach people some of the things that, the everyday things that they do and how they need to do it as far as finances is concerned, and start with your, I got 30 grandkids, so I'm on a mission, and I'm blessed to have my oldest grandsons. All of this, the 3 oldest, all of them have properties, because we told them don't buy a house, buy an asset first. In your 20s, you don't need a house, you need an asset. So now my oldest one in his 30s, he's working on his 3rd property. My second one working on his 2nd property. So you have to teach them from the door. And there's too many things you can watch and learn. In my show, emphasize the start to finish. As my motto says, we take you from A to Z financially, show you how to travel, all while looking good.
Fantastic. And I think it's so great, too, to have you and Wayne on the show together, because to me, in my mind, financial literacy and then technology literacy are 2 things that can really stymie folks when they don't have access to those resources. And so in transitioning over to you a little bit, Wayne, I wanted to ask, when you're putting together your show and thinking about what you feel like people need help with, in terms of what they learn about technology, what are you thinking about when you're getting your show together? What does an average show look like for you?
Well, the basis, I start with not teaching people technology, but getting comfortable comfortable with technology. There's a difference. So many of folks who are 50 plus didn't have the luxury of growing up with technology. And for one reason or another, a lot of us of that era didn't adapt. We didn't pick it up. So a lot of us feel like we've missed the boat. We feel like we didn't get it in the beginning and it's too late to play catch up. And then there's a large percentage that's just scared of technology. My shows are framed to outline steps and ways of alleviating some of that anxiety towards technology. Of course, there's a lot of how-tos. There's a lot of things you need to look for, things to secure yourself. But I want people to be comfortable. If you leave my show with nothing less than having a better level of comfort with technology, then I feel like my job has been done.
I love that. I think, at Philly Cam, we talk a lot about confidence being the biggest sort of thing that we can impart on someone. That a lot of times, we go over the cameras and things like that at the classes, and folks know it. It's just that when you get out there and you're holding it, it's that confidence to know that you know it. And I think for you too, Toni J, there's a lot of common sense stuff around finances that people probably know, and it's needing that confidence to say, I can make that leap. I can start my own business. I can make this investment. I can pull the trigger. I can trust that I know these things. And again, so I think there's a lot of overlap there that. But I wanted to shift gears a little bit here and thinking about how you got your shows off the ground, which I know has taken a lot and has been able to deliver these resources to your community. What were some of the biggest hurdles? What are some of the biggest struggles that you've had to overcome to get your show going? I think it'd be interesting for folks who are maybe starting their own shows or interacting with these shows to hear about what some of those struggles you had to overcome. Or maybe we can start with you, Toni J.
One, coming out your comfort zone, being coachable, because one thing about Philly Cam, I love the teachers because they're patient, but you have to be coachable. You can't think you know it all. You have to learn. I had to go back and do research. I'm 66. I had to go back to school to learn what I wanted to teach. I had to, I made that decision. I was passionate about it. I started doing, resources, went to workshops, and I don't know. It's just that you have to understand what it is, what you want to do, like I said, and be passionate. And as you can see, I get nervous when I'm on TV. So that was the main thing I'm still overcoming, but I do it anyway because I feel that nothing's going to defeat me. And like I said, with the support where we do our show at Philly Cam, it's just amazing. They have so many things. There's no excuse why you can't if you really want to do it, because you're going to have times when your mic doesn't work and you either give up or like, okay, next time, let me see how I can fix it. Let me see who I can call. The main thing, you have to seek help. Especially if this is new to you, you have to ask questions. You have to be coachable. So.
And how about for you, Wayne? Some challenges in getting the show off the ground and putting it together?
I agree 100% with her. I think the barriers to me putting my show together was basically I had never done content creation. I have done all kinds of training, all kinds of group work, but creating content, I had never done it. Philly Cam, my show would not be possible without it. And in fact, this is a good time to give a shout out to Roland and Gabe. They were absolutely critical to me getting the skills I need to turn my show out.
Yes.
And again, what she said about being teachable and being coachable and being open to this new experience, that's at the core of it. But once you find your resource, you just got to embrace it. And that's what I found. That's how come my show happened in the first place.
And in thinking about, what's next? Where do you go from here? How do you expand? I know we mentioned in the opening that you're also starting a podcast, Wayne. What else is next for you with the show? What are the stepping stones to continuing to grow this community you've built? Well,
my show is just one aspect of the Talking Tech with Wayne universe. I have a website, ttwwlabs.org. I have a Facebook, Talking Tech with Wayne Facebook page. I have I'm doing online training with basic skills for PC, smartphone, security, browsing. I have a helpline where people can call and get information about technology without the fear of someone trying to create an invoice over their need. And that's 215-406-HELP. So it's I think part of how I approach it is that my show is a part of the overall approach for the community so that they have this resource that's there, that's accessible to them, and a resource that they don't, that's free, but there's no pressure to buy something. There's a different kind of information that comes from people who have something to gain. And that's why my nonprofit is separated from my technical solutions company or my drone services company. It is a nonprofit, and there is there's nothing to buy, so that there's no pressure to buy anything. So the information is about information.
And it's been really cool for me to see just how tight-knit that Talking Tech community, when you talk about your Facebook page and you talk about the website, just getting to see some of the responses from folks who've really, had their problems addressed. And again, addressed in a way where nobody's trying to sell them anything and no one's judging them. I think you can feel like you're being judged. And that's, I know, true with your finances too. I think that's one of the barriers is, you start thinking about, well, I'm going to try to get my finances in order. What were all the things you did that made it so your finances weren't in order, you can really kind of start judging yourself, and then you don't go anywhere. And so one thing I think I've appreciated from you, Toni J, as well, is that there really is no judgment when people come in. We're all trying to build wealth. And like you say, nobody's been given this education. It's not like math and science in school where from, kindergarten on, you're getting taught a class. Nobody's giving you these classes. And so how would any of us know this? So I think that education is just, really critical to make it clear this is for everybody. And there really is no shame in having to kind of start learning it whenever you start learning it, at whatever age, at whatever juncture in your life. As far as what's next for Seven Figure Hustle, Toni J, thinking about how you continue this work, what are some of the things you're looking forward to coming up with the show?
I want to do some real live stories, because when you talk and you tell people, but when you have testimonies, when you have people start from the bottom, now I'm at the top, or because at the beginning I just wanted to be rich, but now that I understand, the average person just wants to be financially free. And that's when your bills are paid, you don't have nobody's calling you, you're sleeping all night because you're not worrying about how to do this, how to do that, when the next bill, how I'm gonna pay it. And I just think that my show, I want to take it to that level. I want to be in the street a little more. I want to do different aspects. I want to talk to children. As children, what do you know about finances? And go from there.
And how do people find you? How do they find the Seven Figure Hustle online or get in touch with you?
The sevenfigurehustle.com. Toni J Robinson Jones on Facebook. Most of my shows are on there. And sometimes I post on Philly Cam TV. I just got my Roku TV, so now I can you can go on Roku. I'm on there on demand. And it's just look for me. If you want to find somebody, you look for them.
Excellent. And Wayne, you just gave your information when you were talking about the universe, but maybe give it to us again just so we can grab it. If folks want to find Talking Tech with Wayne, how do they do that? What are the ways they do that?
My website is www.ttww, Talking Tech with Wayne Labs, www.ttwwlabs.org. And my Facebook page is Talking Tech with Wayne. On my website, there are links to all of the other portions of ours, including we just started going back into health centers and community centers doing in person. So you might want to go to my website and try to schedule a discussion group at your church or community group.
Fantastic. Well, thank you both so much for joining me today. With Wayne Hunter of Talking Tech with Wayne, Toni J Jones of the Seven Figure Hustle, and we were joined earlier by Sebastian Foxworth, his documentary, COVID-19, Me and a Murder in MLP. So again, thank you so much for being here. It's been really great to have you on the panel with me. This is part of Producer Circle. This is our community care focused panel. This is part 2. Gabe was able to host one earlier, so be sure to check that out as well. And this is all part of Philly Cam's People Powered Media Fest, which is our annual month-long celebration of community media and our membership here at Philly Cam. And there's more information to be found on that at ppmfest.org. My name is Roland Boyden. I'm the Access Facilitator here at Philly Cam. Been a blast here to be on the panel. And I'm going to thank you all for joining us. We will see you later.